Reading with your kids.
Hola, ni hao, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, jumbo, bienvenidos. Hi, my name is Jedley, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast, a podcast that's been nominated for the iHeartRadio Best Kids and Family Podcast Award. We are so excited. We have a worldwide episode for you today. We have two wonderful guests. Harsha Sheelam is coming to us from Hyderabad in India. And Lynn Emslie is coming to us from Somerset in the United Kingdom. You know, I really love the fact that we have guests from all over the world here on the Reading with Your Kids podcast. And I love books. I love the fact that books are a great way for our kids to travel all around the world and meet people from different cultures. It's been one of the things that was most important in our family as my kids were growing up was to help them understand that they were more, that there was more to the world than just their little corner of it, just their little neighborhood, that there was this big, beautiful world to be explored. And I think opening our kids' eyes to that is a way to spark their natural curiosity of the world around them, of the cultures around them, of the people around them. And it's a great way for them to kind of get to know themselves. Well, I have to tell you, if you are like me, you absolutely want to visit littlepassports.com/reading, littlepassports.com/reading, because Little Passports is a perfect holiday gift for curious kids of all ages. Little Passports delivers fun-filled packages right to their door every single month, with engaging hands-on activities, interactive projects, and unique souvenirs just waiting to be discovered. Little Passport's monthly subscriptions are designed to spark children's curiosity about geography, world cultures, or science. From exploring sea creatures in Costa Rica to building a Big Ben like the one in England or making an ancient Greek headpiece, every month is a different adventure that will fuel their imagination and spark their natural curiosity of the world around them. It's the perfect holiday gift for kids ages 3 to 13 this holiday season. Order today for holiday delivery at littlepassports.com/reading. littlepassports.com/reading. I love that I get the chance to talk to authors all around the world. I love that I get the chance to talk to young authors. And our guest tonight has been a guest on the show before. She's coming to us from Hyderabad in India. She's the author of the brand new book, Poppydown Pals. Please welcome back to the show, Harsha Sheelam. Harsha, how are you?
Thank you. I am good. How are you doing?
I am wonderful, wonderful. Harsha got up at the very, very early hour of 5:30 in the morning to speak with us today. So thank you so very much.
I love to be on Reading with Your Kids, and the pleasure is all mine.
Well, I'm excited. So tell us a little bit about Poppydown Pals, please.
The stories are about Poppydown's 8-year-old children. The book traces the life of Poppydown's pals and provides contemporary morals for children. These morals will help children grow to their best potential. So, Pratt is the protagonist, who is the resident of the town. He's chubby, he's kind and honest, but he makes mistakes like all children do. Positively, he never fails to learn lessons from his blunders. He learns to be positive. He works hard, staying away from filth and greed. He understands the essential of festivals. He loves others who are different from him, understanding that appearances are deceptive. He respects and loves his elders. He protects those who can't protect themselves. And he appreciates hard work over beauty. And he also understands that useful things are of more importance than ornamental. So these are the few morals that the children would take away after reading Poppydown Pals.
Well, he sounds like the kind of guy I'd like in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
This is important to you, sharing values and inspiring kids to be good people. I really respect that about you and about your writing. Where does that come from? I mean, you're in college, and I don't know about in India, but I know in the States, a lot of young people who are in college they're not thinking about inspiring kids to have values. They're going out to party. What is it about you that has this drive that drives you to inspire kids in this way?
As a child, back when I remember, the books that were available for me to read were a few Barbie books and a few Cinderella story books, like all the fairy tales.
Mm-hmm.
But there were no books that could inspire you, or you could take away something from them and apply it in your life. So what stories I write, at some point in the child's life, he or she would have to see it or would come across it in somebody else's life or in their own. And I believe that they have to be prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they do not see it, or even if they don't come across it, they should still know what is good and what is bad, and how you have to choose the right over the wrong. It makes the child very sensible, and it's a sensible thing to do. Intelligence is not only about what we take away from our academic studies. It's also about the kind of decisions we choose to make. And children should learn to be intelligent right from the beginning.
No argument here. I agree with you 100%. And I love it. And I think that your books are wonderful in that they give parents and kids a really great opportunity to speak about a lot of these values.
Yes. Poppydown Pals is like the first book that I did through self-publishing.
Uh-huh.
And when I was writing Poppydown Pals, I wanted to do something different. So in this book, it does not just include Pratt's stories, it also includes some fables, like how we had Aesop's fables, but something in a different way. So it has a different touch to it. There is a grandmother who lives in Poppydown. Her name is Sarayu, and through her, these fables have been told. So the book also has a different touch to it, something again very different from the previous books.
Yeah, that's great. Now, I'm curious. It certainly takes a lot of courage to self-publish, and that's wonderful. Have you decided? One of the things that fascinates me about India is that there are so many languages there. Is there? Am I right that there's more than 20 official languages in India?
Yeah, I think there are more.
Okay.
There are 28 states, 29 states, and every state has their own language, and even if there is the same language, there's a different way of speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so there could be a lot of languages, more than the languages that are known to us. So, there's a mix of culture. There's a lot of mix of culture. And there is one story in Poppydown Pals which is also related to an Indian festival. Just to teach children that festivals are not just for fun. It's not just a holiday. There is some reason why we celebrate it. There's a story behind that, and it's a true story. And you could, understand the essence of why we are celebrating this. Not just the Indian festival or any festival around the world. There's a story why we do it. So you need to know that and not just blindly believe in it.
Mm-hmm. I love.
So I think.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I love that. I think it is very, very important for us to help our kids understand the history and why we do certain things.
Yeah. So I think now I ask my parents, like, There are a lot of small festivals as well that we celebrate, and there are few gods there are a lot of Indian gods and a few that I didn't know of as a child, and I come across now. So I asked my parents what is the story behind them, and there was this one, two goddess, and I still don't recollect the name because it's so difficult to remember their names. They are being worshipped in that village because either they were a sister duo or the mother-daughter. They were raped by a group of men and they fought back, and that is the reason they are worshipped in that village, and there's a whole temple built for them.
Wow, fascinating.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I one of the things I encourage parents to do is to expose their kids to the world and to introduce them to different cultures and get kids at least hearing different languages and learning and kind of understanding. There are so many people who couldn't even find India on a map or find China on a map. And I think it's important for us to be connected, especially now. I mean, here we are. I'm in Boston in the United States. You're in Hyderabad in India. It's 5:30 in the morning there. It's 8:10 here in the States. But we're able to speak to each other. It's a magical time.
Completely. There's a lot of technology advancement, and the doors have been made open. There are some times, but even today I see that when I make a proposal to someone, not all are like that, but few are not very accepting because they just see that word India and they form an opinion. Maybe on a prior basis they'd agree to do it, but eventually they just cancel it on some pretext. So, but there are most of the people that I've come across and I've done interviews with or just spoke to or collaborated with, they're very accepting. Now, people are not that judgmental. There's no prejudice. There's a little bit, and we can't help but let it stay. It's very difficult to eradicate that little bit, and there are going to be a few people who still think a little negatively, and no one can change that but themselves.
Absolutely. Our guest tonight has been Harsha Sheelam. Thank you so much for getting up so early, and thank you for being part of our show.
Thank you so much. It's always been my pleasure.
Through the magic of the technology, we're going to travel from Hyderabad in India to Somerset in the United Kingdom. But before we do, we want to tell you about an amazing holiday gift that can transport your kids to different cultures, to different times in history, to exciting science experiments. I am talking about Little Passports. Little Passports is a perfect holiday gift for curious kids of all ages. Little Passports delivers fun-filled packages right to their door every single month with engaging hands-on activities, interactive projects, and unique souvenirs just waiting to be discovered. Little Passports monthly subscriptions are designed to spark children's curiosity about geography, world cultures, or science. From exploring sea creatures in Costa Rica to building a Big Ben like the one in England or making an ancient Greek headpiece, every month is a different adventure that will fuel their imagination and spark their natural curiosity of the world around them. It's the perfect gift for kids ages 3 to 13 this holiday season. Order today for holiday delivery at littlepassports.com/reading. That's littlepassports.com/reading. Joining us on the line right now from Somerset in the United Kingdom. She is one of our returning guests. Folks loved hearing about her Jasper and Milo book before. She's back with the sequel. It's called Jasper and Milo's Walk in the Park. Please welcome back to the show, Lynn Emslie. Lynn, how are you?
Hello, thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me today.
I'm happy to have you back, and I'm excited to learn about what's going on in the lives of those two adorable puppies, Jasper and Milo.
Oh, right. Well, they've been very busy. They've been settling into their new home, which was their first book. And now they are starting to learn about life living in their new home and all the things they have to do. They have to, learn where their food is and when they go to the bathroom. And then they had to go to the vets and have their injections and their checkup. But the big exciting event was the first time they were allowed to actually walk outside and go to the park. So the book is about their first experience going out of the garden gate into the park and meeting other dogs.
Wow, yeah, it's a fun time. I can relate. I have a shelter dog. Our little doggy Augie came from a shelter, and he doesn't play well with other dogs.
No,
no, because no one took him to the park when he was a puppy before we got him. So he's afraid and he fights with all these dogs and whatnot. But I imagine it must be a lot of fun for a child to read Jasper and Milo's Walk in a Park and imagine them bringing their brand new puppy down to the park for the first time.
Well, I've had a lot of really positive feedback, and I've done quite a few readings at libraries, and I've also been involved and invited to attend dog festivals as well. So you've got the sort of the children's area, and then you've got the dog world as well, which is very substantial. People are very interested, and the book is going down very well, which is lovely, really.
That's fantastic. It's great to hear. Yeah, the dogs are one of those parts of so many families' lives. We've been dog owners and lovers all of my life. And we've had a number of great dogs, and they really do. Each dog has their own personality and adds something to the family, don't they?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We've had lots of dogs, my husband and I, all through childhood and since we've been married. We've had dogs and they've all been different. They've all had personalities. They've all been lovely, and all bring something to the whole household, and they add something to your home. If you go out and they're not there and you come home, it's really, really quiet without them. It's horrible. So what I've tried to capture in the first and the second of these books, and hopefully I'll move on to a third, is about those experiences, but also to capture that the dogs themselves have experiences and personalities, and they can bring something to a family dynamic. But they also, the teaching part of it is that they have feelings and they have needs, so they need to be looked after carefully, and they have feelings, and when they go to the park, when Jasper and Milo go to the park for the first time, they're quite frightened. They see all these other dogs and people, and it's quite scary for them. And there is a big dog that runs straight over to them called Jake, and they're quite terrified, but it all works out okay, and they all become friends. So through my experiences, a lot of children's organisations, homeless organisations and adoption agencies have picked up the books to kind of help people settle into a new experience, which has been a side effect I never really considered, but it's great we can help.
That's wonderful. And as you were speaking, I was thinking that not only would this be a great book for a family of dog lovers to add to their family library, but it would also be a great resource, I think, for a family that's considering adopting a dog from a shelter or bringing a dog home from a breeder. Just to because kids all the time, I want a puppy, it's going to be cute and whatnot, but they don't realize all the work and all the care that a dog needs. Yeah. And this would be a great way for a family to sit down with a child or with the whole family and just talk about, if we get our own little Jasper and Milos, we have to think about this, this, and this.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that's kind of the message I wanted to get across, and in a nice way, but that seems to be having an effect. And so, yes, absolutely. It's kind of a learning for everybody, but in a nice way. And I know you do the reading with your kids, which I'm really, really interested in. The books are written, so an adult or a younger person can read the books out loud to younger children, and as the children get older and start to pick up words and pictures, they can follow the words and the pictures. So it's helping with their reading as well. So I'm also really keen on that side of it.
Yeah, and one of the things you were telling me is that you've become very involved, not only doing readings at libraries and introducing your book to librarians, but you've also become very involved in supporting libraries in different ways.
Yes, that's been another aspect of writing these books. I don't know what it's like in America, but in England there is no money, basically. All these sort of public sector things are really struggling, and one of the things that are being cut are library services. And there's a great campaign around the country to try and support and retain libraries. So I've become involved with I live in a village which is linked to a small town. So there is a bigger library which is very good and functioning really well some miles away, 20 miles away, but not where I live. There is a very small library, and that's due to close. There is a consultation out at the moment, but the outcome is that it's probably going to close. So a group of us have got together as friends of Castle Carey Library, and we've done some amazing work, actually. I'm quite astounded at what we're doing. We're kind of making a proposal to set up a charity to keep the library running. So we've had to write a business plan, a constitution. We're applying to become a charitable status. We've had to do a fundraiser. We've been to all the councils, the town councils, district councils to try and get funding. There is a promise from the county council as a handover period, and run basically through volunteers, but in a very professional way with, proper teams and a manager, trustees running it. And we've done all this in the last 3 or 4 months, and it is the expectation from the services that people can do this is quite high. Mm-hmm. And I'm really quite astonished that we're managing to achieve it. But it's been a great learning experience. I've learned such amount in doing this.
Wow. Now, why is it somebody listening might sit down and think, oh, well, libraries, they had their place in their day, and I certainly remember, if I had a question about something, and the 4 or 5 volumes of the Encyclopedia Britannica that we had in the home didn't cover it, I would have to go traipse down to the library to be able to research different projects for school and whatnot. But somebody sitting at home right now might say, well, we don't really need libraries. We have Google, we have the internet. What would you say to that person? What do you see as the library's great value in the year 2018 and beyond?
Well, I think libraries are very different from the one you've described and I remember. They are now sort of hubs for lots of activity. They're the ones that are functioning well. They have a lot of sort of internet access and training and teaching for people on the computers, using social media, how to research things on Google, actually teaching those skills. But they also have demonstrations, they have reading, they have authors coming to talk, they have, supposing there is something like a fitness campaign or a running or a marathon or something like that. There's about meeting the people, learning about what stages of exercise you'd have to go through, maybe linking with a local swimming pool, all sorts of different activities. So they're very busy, very sort of active and proactive places. So it's not just about books. You can get books, you can get CDs, DVDs, those kind of things if you want, but they're also a sort of a resource for meeting people, learning about groups, connecting with local services that are running other types of activities. For example, if there's a reading club, you can get your books from the library, you can all get them together and order them, and then you can do your reading club and come back and report. And it's kind of the hubbub for places and people to meet, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I wanted you to speak about it because I know myself that libraries really have undergone a transformation. Certainly here in the States, as I travel around and present my shows in different libraries, and it's amazing right now. there are some libraries when you go in, they have a gift shop, they have a coffee shop.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
They're like, where are the books?
Yes,
Wait a minute. Oh,
it's
they're in back.
opening up the whole world, I think, for people.
And the other thing I think that we forget, and in terms of, we sit down and we go, oh, well, we have the internet, we have the computers, but not everybody has that.
No, they don't. They don't.
One of the things,
it's not just older people as well, it's people. My other part of my life is very much involved with vulnerable people with complex needs, and I do a lot with charities. And certainly homeless people on the edge of mental health issues, looking into, finding, getting through each day very, very difficult, do not have all the access to computers and digital things. And they might have a mobile phone, but it might not be a fully functioning latest version. So there are people who do not have those accesses.
Right. Yeah. One of the things I notice, especially if I'm in a city library, is that the majority of people who have come to the library and who are at the library on a regular basis are folks who've recently immigrated to the country.
All right. Right, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it's just you referred to it earlier. It's just a great resource. I think we always connected libraries with books because books were really the only vehicle we had to kind of transmit information. And so now, we didn't think of the library as a hub of information or a place to go to get information. We thought of it as a place to go to get books. And now, as we're kind of moving away from books and we're into tablets and video and technology and all that other kind of stuff, well, now, libraries are changing and evolving to continue to be that hub of information.
Yes, absolutely. One of the things I have managed to do, and I know you helped a little bit earlier on in this stage, I've managed to make a link between Yeovil Library, which is the big town near where I live, about 20 miles away, and Upper Dublin Public Library in Philadelphia.
Oh, great.
And it's early days, but they're starting to share social media type things, look at events, and hopefully they're going to build on that to try and exchange things, and particularly around the children's services, to actually look about, different towns and different things people do in their different lives. So I'm really quite excited about that.
Yeah, that's what a fantastic project. And I do know you were speaking to me about that earlier. We shared some information with some libraries. It takes an awful lot of work, and it's wonderful that you and the other folks in your community are so involved and so committed to keeping your little library open.
Well, there's a lot of feeling, a very strong feeling that it is part of the town, part of the community, and we can build on what's already there and make it better. And use the building itself, where the library is placed, is very small. So we're looking at sort of making connections with other rooms and maybe moving to a bigger place over time. But we have an old-fashioned medieval market square in the town, and so it's kind of like the meeting place, and there are lots of activities which take place there. There's sort of like coffee mornings and presentations of things and dancing, those kind of things. So it's like a square in the town where people can come, and the library is seen very much as a part of that. Mm-hmm. So there's a great feeling of support to try and keep it going and to involve people and actually make it bigger and better than it is at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, would you agree with me, Lynn, that one of the ways, and obviously there are parents out here who are listening who are like, oh yeah, I want to support the library, but boy, I don't have the time to start a charity and to be on a board and to raise money and to be a volunteer and things like that. Would you agree that one way that we can help support our libraries, no matter where we are, is just by visiting every once in a while?
Absolutely. The footfall is really important, because when you make business cases and everything else, you have to put data in there. You have to put statistics, and footfall and what people actually do when they're in the library is really key to that. And the more people will enter a library and use it and see it, the more they realise the potential of what can be done. So absolutely, I totally agree.
Yeah. One of the things about Boston, and I've had the pleasure and also the honor of performing in each branch of the Boston Public Library, which I believe is the oldest public library system in the United States.
Wow, well done.
Yeah, and it's been really great. But one of the really neat things about doing a tour of the branches of the Boston Public Library is you get to see how different the different neighborhoods are, not only economically and architecturally, but in terms of the people. There are neighborhoods in Boston where there's a large number of folks from Jamaica, and another area where there's a large number of folks from Ireland and from Italy and from El Salvador, and you see that reflected in the audiences. At least I see that reflected in the audiences that come to see me perform in the different libraries.
Wonderful. In London we might have that kind of effect. I'm not aware of it so much in this area. There are some people who come to, we have a Polish community, quite a large Polish community, but we don't see a lot of groups of sort of people from other places. Mm-hmm. We might have one or two individuals, but that must be a wonderful experience for you, and I think reflects the need for somewhere for people to congregate and to share those experiences and the cultural exchange as well.
Sure. And, getting together in a coffee shop is great. Getting together in a restaurant is great. But that costs money. One of the beautiful things about a library is you can go with your kids and share a book, and it doesn't cost anything. And you can just sit with your kids and get lost in the stacks and explore all sorts of great books and great reading.
Absolutely. I think that being free to use is really important, and is the fundamental function of a library, really. Yep. If there was charging or any kind of cost in relation to it, I think that would be the end of library services as we know it.
So this is wonderful. So I'm so happy that you were there supporting library services and libraries in the United Kingdom and inspiring folks everywhere to do that. So you mentioned earlier on that the first two books in the Jasper and Milo series are available right now. What are you thinking of for the third chapter in their adventures? Do you have a story in mind?
I do, yes. I've always had more than one story in mind since I started. So the next one, really, I would like to be about their big adventure. It's not published or written or anything, but I have it in draft. It's going to be Jasper and Milo's big adventure, and they're going to have a really special adventure. So I want to get a few things sorted out before I get to that point, in terms of wholesale and sales and different aspects of the publishing side. Mm-hmm. But hopefully there will be a number 3 on the way before too long.
Awesome. And are Jasper and Milo, are they inspired by any particular dog, or where is it just your whole history with dogs? Is that what inspired them?
No. The reason I wrote these books, because I haven't done anything like this before. I've done sort of technical professional writing, but not stories. Not since I was a young person anyway. As we adopted 2 dogs, and usually we've had puppies or very young dogs, but this was an emergency crisis situation at a weekend, and these 2 dogs arrived and they were 6 years old. And the previous owner, it was a family crisis situation, sent lots and lots of papers of their dog's needs and what she did for them and about their life, but not actually when they were puppies. So I tried to imagine what they were like when they were puppies, because we hadn't had that experience, and I jotted a few things down, and before I know it, I had the first book, Jasper and Milo's New Home. So they are absolutely based on 2 dogs we adopted a few years ago.
That's wonderful. Now, remind folks where they can connect with you online, please, Lynn.
The books are available on Amazon. Absolutely, that's the best place to go for the books. But I have a website as well, which you can certainly contact. And I've got Facebook and Twitter, so you can make contact through there. I think if you just type in Jasper and Milo, it will come up, hopefully, and you can contact it through there. But I have got addresses where people can find me.
Uh-huh. And your website is jasperandmilo.com, correct?
It is, all together, all like one word, yes.
Yep, and you have to spell out the word "and" as well. And
yes, you do.
Yep.
It's Jasper and spelt out Milo, all lowercase.com, yes.
And it's a lovely, lovely little website, and there's news and events and videos and a way for you to contact Lynn as well. Lynn Emslie, I'm so happy that Jasper and Milo's adventures continue. The latest book is called Jasper and Milo's Walk in the Park. I also want to thank you for being so committed to the concept of libraries, and it's a wonderful service you're doing, not only for your community, but I think it's a great example for all of us to remember just how important libraries are.
Oh, well, thank you. It's been a lot of hard work, but I'm sure it'll pay off and have some good results. So maybe in the future I can tell you about where we progress.
That sounds great. Our guest today has been Lynn Emslie. The name of her book is Jasper and Milo's Walk in the Park. Thanks for being here, Lynn.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been great.
Please be sure to join us for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Our guest will be coming to us from Greenville in South Carolina to talk a little bit about her beautiful book, Why Did You Choose Me? Her name is Katie Cruz Smith. She'll be here. I hope you will be here too. Hey, remember, Little Passports is the perfect holiday gift for that curious kid on your list. With a subscription to Little Passports, kids get a fun-filled package each month designed to inspire their curiosity in geography, world culture, or science. For kids of all ages, order today for holiday delivery at littlepassports.com/reading. littlepassports.com/reading. Hey, we want to thank our guest today, Harsha Sheelam, Lynn Emslie. We want to thank our wonderful sponsor, littlepassports.com/reading. And of course, we want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And as always, thank you so very, very much for taking the time to make the world a better place by reading with your kids. I'll be looking for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.